Hey everyone, Arn Hawaii here to talk to you about the Elgato Streamdeck, what it is, and how to use it to make your stream better. So if you go to Elgato's website, elgato.com, you will find the Stream Deck along with a bunch of their other offerings and this super awesome video, which makes this seem a lot more intense and maybe intimidating than it really is. They have all kinds of other products besides just the regular Stream Deck, including the XL, which has more buttons, the Deck Mini, which has less buttons. There's also a mobile application, and of course you'll need the companion software. So now we'll talk a little bit about pricing. Okay, so if you go to Elgato's store on Amazon, you can see the prices for the three different options. The 15 key one, which is the one that came out first, $149.95. If you go with the smaller one, $69.99. And if you go with the jumbo, $249.99. I'm going to argue that the 15 key one is probably going to be fine for you, especially because you can have multiple pages of buttons. You're not just limited to the 15 that you can see. Whereas this would be something, if you're just doing like something crazy intense kind of stream, then maybe you want all of these things at hand. It comes with the cute little dock for your desk that's adjustable, and the companion software is free. All right, so let's assume that you've downloaded the software, you plugged in your Stream Deck via the USB cable, and it's all ready to go. You've opened the software, and you'll see something like this, right? Basically, everything is blank. There may be a little button here that you can delete, and all of these options on the right-hand side. So before you start going crazy and adding stuff, I would recommend creating a profile of some kind. That way you can have multiple configurations that are separate from one another. You don't have to keep deleting things and replacing things for different types of streams. You can just have different profiles that you can choose from for different shows. So click the gear up here and then begin configuring all this stuff. Do you want it to go to sleep on its own, or do you always want it to be on? What do you want the brightness of the buttons to look like? The next thing you do is link accounts, right? So if you want your buttons to trigger things like follower-only chat on Twitch, or cut a clip, or execute a command in chat, well, you need to link your Twitch account. So go ahead and hit the plus, and then Twitch, and then authorize your account. I also did it for Twitter because you can have it send tweets for you on occasion. So I link my Twitter as well. And then maybe go ahead and make a profile in here that you're gonna start out with. And this is where you would also create new profiles so that you can have different sets of keys for different shows or applications. All right, so now let's start looking at these options on the side here and go through them as quick as I can. You can dive into a lot of the specifics of the rest of them, just sort of explore, but I'll go through sort of the common ones that you want to start. Now the first ones you'll see are Control Center. Those actually, I believe, are for configuring your Elgato key light, which is another product that they make for controlling your lighting for your stream, so I would just kind of ignore that. And anything that you want to ignore on this side panel, you can just click this little thing and it collapses all of those options so you can stay organized. All right, so here are the ones that you definitely are going to start out with. I'm sure maybe you won't use all of them, but these are really great. If you use OBS Studio, you've got 5 options here. Scene, which will allow you to trigger a different scene. Mixer Audio, which will allow you to mute or unmute audio sources. Record, which starts or stops recording. Stream, which starts or stops live streaming. And Source, which will activate or deactivate a source. So let's start out with Scene. I'm just going to drag it anywhere from the side. I'll grab it, drag it. We'll call it title with camera or something like that. Now, one of the things you can do is you can click here and tell it a bunch of things. I can say, where do I want the text on the button? Top, middle, bottom. Do I want the text smaller so I can read all of it? Do I want it really big? And then maybe I shorten it to just title. So we'll go do that. I'll just delete that extra stuff. Title. All right, maybe I know what title scene is. And then your collection is going to be the actual scene collection in OBS. So you're pointing to the correct scene collection. And then the scene that you want to change it to. So I'm going to say I want it to change to scene 3. which is the title scene. So now when I press that button, it should switch to that scene. And there we go. Now I'm in the title scene, and all I did was press that button on the Stream Deck. So I'm going to click back, but if I wanted to, I could have another button right next to it that sends me back to the other scene. So I could say this is the scene that I'm in now. Anyways, I'm going to delete that. Let's go to the next one, which is mixer audio. I'll drop one of those in there, and I'll say mic 3. And I'll make sure that's the correct scene collection that I'm in, and then the source that I want to be able to mute or unmute. So I'm going to look for mic aux 3. And now, if I tap it, I should be muted. So button, and then I come back when I click it again, and I'm no longer muted. All right, one thing worth noting is that you can just click and drag buttons if you want to rearrange your setup. You can also right-click a button and you can copy it, you can delete it, you can move it into a folder, or you can move it into a multi-action. We'll talk about folders and multi-actions later on in this video. All right, so I'm just going to slap that back where it was, and we'll move on. I won't cover record or stream because you know what those do. Let's go to source. So I'm going to say I want to be able to hide and unhide a source. So I'm going to go key light, and we're going to hide and unhide that key light source. So the current scene I'm in is scene 5, and the source that I want to hide and unhide is image 5. So now when I click that, that image will pop up, and when I click it again, it'll go away. So it just toggles on and off. And obviously it doesn't care what kind of source it is, so it doesn't have to be an image. It can be a sound, it could be a song, it could be a video, it could be your webcam, it could be any kind of source that it will hide or unhide. Another thing worth noting is that if you actually use Streamlabs OBS, you have the same exact options: scene, mixer audio, record, stream, and source. All right, so I'm going to collapse that since we're moving on, and let's get into some of the fun stuff. So the first one is soundboard. A lot of people use this to trigger different sound effects or music, and it's pretty simple: play audio and stop audio. So let's start with play audio. I'm going to slap that here, and we're going to go cops theme. I'm going to say that I want the cops file to play, the song. Let's figure out where the heck I put it. There it is. And the action is play or stop, meaning when I press it, it will start to play, and if I press it again, it will stop it. You can also adjust the volume here, or obviously in OBS, you can adjust your desktop audio. What's nice about this is that you can have your desktop audio the way you want for everything, and then just bring this up and down independently. All right, so now when I play that, it should play through desktop audio. So click the button, and now the song is playing. And I press it again to stop it. That's it. Now if you dig deeper into things like the actions, you have a bunch of other things you can play with. I won't go into detail, so you can just kind of add your button and then play with these things and see what they do. It's a great way to just learn all of the things that Stream Deck can accomplish. So let's move on to another one. I'm going to collapse that and create folder. All right, now the beauty of this thing is it will give you access to another page on your Stream Deck keys. So if you want, your default page to have one thing, but if you want to get into something else that you don't need as often as the stuff on the first page, you can get in there. So I'm just going to call it page 2. You can call it anything you want. And then I'm actually going to double click this, and it's taken me to a blank page with a back button that will get me back to the original page. So let's say I had some other actions that I wanted in there just for that page, and then when I'm not in that, I'll just be back to my open page, right? So all you have to do is just press that page 2 button on your Stream Deck. It will take you to that page, do the thing that you need to do, and then press that back button to get back to the main page. All right, so let's get back to the Stream Deck settings. Switch profile, self-explanatory, switches the profile that you're using your Stream Deck. Multi-action, which I'm going to save for a moment. Timer. Now this one's kind of cool. you can say, hey, I want a 60-second timer, and then set the duration to 60, and then it will play a sound of some kind, or you can set it to not play a sound when that duration is over. I'm going to go ahead and actually set this to 15. It doesn't matter that the title says it, but for good reference, I'm going to go ahead and press that 15-second button now. And what you don't see on the menu here, but you would see on your Stream Deck, is an actual countdown. So it's showing me 5, 4, 3, 2, and then it just played that sound to let me know that the time ran out. This is a really great thing. Now, if you're going to do long durations, you have to actually convert that down to seconds. So, if I want to do a 20-minute timer, I've got to, put however many seconds is in 20 minutes. There's no way to change this from seconds to minutes or hours or anything like that. All right, so now let's get to the juicy stuff. Multi-action. So this is the thing where you're going to be able to accomplish a bunch of actions with one button press. So now that we're in here, it says drag an action from the right to drop it here. So what we're going to do is we're going to call this the BRB for my Be Right Back scene. So if I just want to go straight to Be Right Back, click one thing and have all of the things happen, then this is what we'll do. Really all I want to do is A, switch to the scene, and B, mute my microphone. You can have a bunch more, but this is really all I need to demonstrate how this works. So I'm going to go to OBS Studio, Scene, drag that over there. I'm going to say BRB Scene, and this is just for my own reference, and then BRB. Okay, now when I press, it's definitely going to go to the BRB Scene. The other thing I want to do is I'm going to grab Mixer Audio, and I am going to say my mic, and I'm going to go deactivate, and then I'm going to click my mic, which is mic aux 3. So now it should deactivate my microphone as well as switch to this scene all in the push of a single button. Now my Be Right Back scene has a nice video showing Be Right Back, and it has some music. So I'm going to just go back to this menu. I'm going to click it right now and demonstrate. Here we go. Okay, and now we're back. You can also set another multi-action button to bring you out of that scene, back into a different scene, and unmute your mic. Basically, the possibilities are endless. Everything that's available on this side here can be added to a multi-action button. All right, now that we've covered the basics, we're going to rip through the rest of these real quick. I'm going to go ahead and collapse what we've already talked about, and you'll notice the next category is Streamlabs. If you use their widgets to create alerts or anything like that on your stream, there's all kinds of buttons here that will allow you to control things that are straight from Streamlabs itself. You'd have to link that account, obviously, to your Stream Deck. Streamlabs OBS, again, same options as the OBS Studio buttons for changing scenes and managing sources. And then we've got Twitch. Here's a lot of the stuff that you can do. Like if you're a partner, you can play ads. You can set up a stream or game title in advance and switch that by just clicking the button there. Sub chat, slow chat, follower chat, emote chat. You can make stream markers for when interesting things happen on your stream and you want to be able to find those markers later. For video editing, you just click that. And then when you go into Video Producer, you'll see those markers. All kinds of good stuff. Play with what you need, and it's fairly self-explanatory. And then Twitter, you can compose a tweet, and as long as you've linked your Twitter account to it, it will send the tweet for you. I believe there's a limit of how many of these times you can click this within a certain amount of minutes, and that's really just there to prevent you from accidentally clicking this too many times and sending a bunch of tweets when you really only meant to send one. You can also click this More Actions button on the bottom, and it will list all kinds of sort of extensions that you can add. Like, for example, if you use Voice Mod to make funny changes to your voice, well, then you can install the sort of extension for that, and then it'll give you options to control Voice Mod from your Stream Deck. All right, so there you go, some of the basics of the Elgato Streamdeck. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comment section below this video. If it was useful, please click like. I make all kinds of videos about streaming, so if you enjoyed this one and you want to see more, click subscribe, and thanks for watching.